You know, Jackie Gleason supposedly had an encounter with Nixon. That Nixon and Gleason were buddies, and they were drinking.
Really?
And
I did not know
It's
this.
a famous story that's disputed, but apparently...
Let's go with it, though.
Let's go with it.
Yeah.
Gleason apparently had said that Jackie Gleason and him were drinking, and Nixon was like, "You want to see a fucking UFO?"
No way.
Yeah, and he flew him to see wreckage, and they had frozen biological entities, and they got a chance to see these things that they had frozen.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So that must have been like early 70s at some point.
Something like that. And
That's
Jackie Gleason
crazy.
wound up having a house built in the shape of a UFO afterwards.
No
Yeah,
way.
that was for sale as recently as I think like a decade ago. See if you can find
Where?
that house.
In LA or something?
No, it's in upstate New York. But the house looks like a fucking UFO.
No
Like he had a
way.
UFO house built. Yeah, Jackie Gleason apparently was obsessed with UFOs after the fact.
No.
So this
What?
is yeah.
that
Jackie
looks
Gleason's
like a
UFO
cabin.
inspired upstate New York spaceship house.
No way.
Yeah. That was
Doesn't
his
that look like, and that picture makes it look bigger. Okay, that's serious.
Yeah,
oh,
it's
wow.
a fucking.
That's beautiful.
Oh, that's two different buildings.
Oh,
Oh, he has
the
more
first
than
one's
one
like
of
the
them.
guest house.
Top, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Small building.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, that's the
fucking
guest house.
thing.
The other one.
Wild.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So Jackie Gleason became a UFO freak.
Man, I'm gonna do that after this. That's a pretty cool looking house.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Oh,
I
wow,
wish it
look
was.
at that.
I wonder if it's still for sale.
That's
Entrance to
amazing.
the mothership. Woo!
I'm gonna talk to my wife about this when I get
Yeah.
home. This is serious right here. Well, now you have this SIG Spear. So there's a lot of UFO stuff on this SIG Spear. So maybe this should be reserved for taking out the aliens when they come.
I don't want to take them out.
Well, if they attack you.
Listen, I don't think they're going to attack.
If they attack.
If they do attack, I think they could render you useless almost instantaneously.
But them too. They're kind of like, why wouldn't they just sit back and watch?
I
Like,
think they're if
they're
I
gonna pass right by.
If I had to guess, I mean, just the wildest of speculations, I would guess that every civilization reaches a point of technological proficiency when they're also dealing with these territorial warring tribes
Yeah.
where they have the ability to literally destroy the earth. And that if this is a natural course of progression for intelligent beings, they get to this point, there's a transition where it gets very dangerous. And if I was from another planet and I was monitoring this, I would be there to make sure that they don't launch.
Okay.
That they don't, and that's the theme of the Mothership Comedy Club, is that the rooms are called Fat Man and Little Boy. And the reason why the rooms are called Fat Man and Little Boy is because that is a specific moment in UFO folklore when the aliens start arriving. After the detonation of those bombs, that's when you start seeing this massive uptick in sightings.
Really?
Yes. And interactions with fighter pilots and these different military bases that have nuclear programs where the bases get shut down and all the power goes off. Yeah, there's like,
That's wild.
yeah, it's heavy stuff. Because if you think that they are watching, that would make the most sense. That they see that we have nuclear power, we have the ability to blow ourselves up, and we detonate two
we did it.
bombs, and then they're like, okay, let's go monitor these assholes.
Let's go make sure that they don't do anything that's going to affect the
Seems
rest
like
of the
only
universe.
one country right now has them. Let's fucking specifically concentrate on them. And then they have sightings in the Soviet Union when the Soviet Union has the capabilities. And
No
yeah,
kidding.
there's a ton of documented sightings and these encounters that happen. And then
So
there's
beforehand,
also
there's not really anything.
very little, very little,
Really?
very well. I'm sure they've probably been visiting us if they do visit us.
Yeah.
I would imagine they've been visiting us forever. Like, look, they've got engines. Look, they've got guns. Look, they've got this. You know, it'd be fascinating to watch. Like, look at these territorial apes with nuclear weapons. Like, it's the time to watch.
Right now, they're probably just sitting back,
Yeah.
popping that popcorn and being like, oh, man,
Well,
it's
as
getting interesting now.
We're getting closer and closer to our fucking inevitable demise. Like, that's when the sightings are ramped up to the point where the Pentagon has to start talking about it.
And they are.
Yes.
In front of Congress.
Yes.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
But no one pays attention.
No one pays attention.
It's like, let's go back to, TikTok and Instagram.
Well,
and
I mean, they kind of pay attention, but it's not. There's nothing that you could fucking put your fork into.
Right.
You know, it's like, what is it?
Exactly.
You know, like, why are they telling us about this? That's also, there's a lot of cynicism when it comes to like, why is the government telling us about UFOs?
Like a distraction, you mean?
But what is it? Like, what are they telling us because they really have this information and they want to slowly leak it out because this is an inevitable contact moment and they want to prepare civilization, or is it just horseshit? Is it just they're distracting us, and this is how they, institute this drone program where they have this, anti-gravity device and they can move at insane rates of speed? I don't know. I mean, it's just guesswork.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You get to hear directly from these guys who've actually seen it, experienced it.
Yeah.
Hang out and talk with them for a little bit.
I've talked to quite a few now, that have seen these things and had these experiences. But the Bob Lazar one is uniquely compelling.
All right.
Uniquely compelling because Bob is without a doubt a brilliant guy,
right.
and he was a legitimate propulsions expert who it's been proven he worked at Los Alamos Labs, and they tried to hide that. They tried to lie about that and say that he wasn't, but he's on the employee roster. He has an intimate knowledge of the facilities. They took him. George Knapp took him on a tour of Los Alamos. He knew where everything was. He knew the people there. They knew him.
Wow.
Yeah, it's wild shit, man. Because if he's telling the truth, he says is not one that they've recovered, but multiple, and that one of them they think is really old, and they got it from an archaeological dig. They think that they recovered this thing in the ground.
That's movie stuff. I mean, you see that in movies, and we all watch it in movies and think it's science fiction, but there's a lot of science fiction that has come to fruition, from submarines to going to the moon to also space travel in general, flight, just flying.
Sure, all of it. Every
and we're just like,
Buck Rogers.
No big deal.